Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kakuyo, regular contributor for Buddhistdoor Global. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Ordinary Buddhist. The title of today's talk is The 5 Universal Mental Factors. Before we get into that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. Right mindfulness is the 7th tenet of the Noble Eightfold Path and an important practice in our steps towards enlightenment. However, it can be difficult sometimes to know exactly what we're supposed to be mindful of. And while there are many things that fall under the purview or umbrella of right mindfulness, today we'll be discussing the 5 universal mental factors, which are contact, attention, sensation, perception, and volition. And what the 5 universal mental factors represent are the steps that occur in our mind when a karmic seed ripens, let's say generosity, and how it goes from that ripening all the way to a volitional act. So for example, maybe we have the karmic seed of generosity ripen in our minds. It goes through the 5 universal mental factors and comes out in the real world as us leaving a 20% tip for a waiter or waitress. Now, it's important to note that the 5 universal mental factors are not linear. They're cyclical, and they go on in our minds every second of every day. Contact, attention, sensation, perception, volition. Contact, attention, sensation, perception, volition. On and on ad infinitum. So it's not our goal then to stop the universal mental factors from occurring. Rather, we need to be mindful of them so we know when negative karmic seeds are ripening in our minds and we can choose not to act on them. In contrast, we can also tell when positive karmic seeds are ripening and we can not only act on them, but try to recreate the causes that cause them to come forth. But before we get into that, we first need to understand exactly what each step of the 5 universal mental factors are. So first we have contact, which is simply us making contact with something in the outside world via one of our sense organs, be it our hands, be it our eyes, be it our nose, etc. So let's say I'm walking down the street and I see someone coming towards me. I make contact with my eyes, sight contact. Next we have attention, which is simply us directing our attention to whatever we've made contact with. We see, touch, taste, smell many things throughout the day, but karmic seeds only arise when we pay attention to what we're making contact with. So I see someone coming down the street, I make sight contact with them, and I choose to pay attention. Next, we have sensation, which is simply sort of a tonal effect. We decide if we feel a negative, neutral, or positive response to whatever we're paying attention to. Maybe this is a person we don't like. We've had difficulty with them in the past, so we have a negative sensation attached to them, and that rises up in our minds. So this is a negative karmic seed we're dealing with. Next comes perception, which is the point where we feel some sort of emotional response and also name the thing that we're come in contact with. So that negative sensation turns into anger, and maybe I feel the desire, the need to call this person a dirty word based on things that have happened between us and them in the past. The final step, however, is volition. And this is the important one because this is when we actually do something or say something in the phenomenal world. Now, if we're operating on autopilot, if we're not practicing right mindfulness of the 5 universal mental factors, we may go ahead and call that person a name, planting negative karmic seeds that will ripen and grow in the future. However, if we are practicing right mindfulness, paying attention to our mind, seeing the karmic seeds as they progress through this cycle, we may see and feel the anger, feel us wanting to call them a dirty name, and choose not to. Maybe we give them a compliment instead. Hey Joe, it's good to see you. Maybe we simply nod and go about our day. In either of those cases, we are planting either a positive or a neutral karmic seed, respectively, which will then ripen later in the future. We've also refrained from planting a negative seed and keeping that from growing in the future, thus creating a kinder, more content world, not only for ourselves, but for other people as well. When we engage in right mindfulness of the 5 universal mental factors, which are again contact, attention, sensation, perception, and volition, we can very purposely plant those positive karmic seeds every second of our lives, thus creating a healthier, more beautiful world for everyone involved, ending suffering not only for ourselves, but for all sentient beings. Amitabha.